What's good, people? It's Genesis Elijah. We are back again for another week of quality over quarantine, even though most of us are not quarantining at all. At the moment, it's just I don't even know what it is. It's not a lockdown. It's a do what you want down. But we have a special guest today who goes by the name of Jayahadadream. Jay, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thank you. I'm just happy to be here, to be honest. How are you?
I'm cool, And you know what, right? So the first time I met you was actually no, not the first time I met you. The only time I've met you was we was in it was YouTube. It was the YouTube studios for this like freestyle thing, like some rap freestyle competition or something like that. I don't know, I'm not really sure where it was. My manager was like, go down to this thing. So I was like, all right, cool. So went down there and it was this bare sick MCs. And to this day, I would say at least like, I don't know how many of us there was, about at least maybe like 50. But out of the MCs that I met that day, like, yeah, at least about 20 of them I still keep in contact with, and you're one of them. Like, obviously been checking your music and stuff. So yeah, it's been I've been watching the journey, and you do like a lot of things. Like, you don't just do one thing. So tell me about like what you do.
Okay, so I just finished my sociology degree at University of Nottingham.
Awesome.
I work for a community organisation called Fearless Youth Association, which like tackles knife crime by like getting Black and Asian minority groups and just anyone from poor socioeconomic backgrounds to like get into better pathways. And I also train to be a counsellor in Nottingham. I don't even know how that came about. And I also rap, sing, and I started to produce a bit as well. And that's basically everything.
That's a lot of stuff though. That's a lot of stuff.
Actually, I forgot. I do have a podcast, Modern Day Mulattoes, and I also have my own radio show now as well called Be Your Own Peng. Yeah.
See, so basically you're just like you're not a businesswoman, you're a business.
I like to keep my eggs in different baskets for sure.
See, I'm the same way. So how did you get into music? And was music was that the first thing you went into, or what was the path like getting into where you are now?
I've always been quite academic, so I was always doing my like studying as well. But like my mum, when I grew up, my mum was a proper hip hop head. Like, I had all the Nas discography, Jay-Z, like Biggie, Tupac, everyone. So like she proper brought me in. Like, I remember a lot of the music that I still listen to today was music I listened to in the car with my mum. And then I used to like sing a bit, and I didn't really rap, I just sung. But I always was like wanting to do different things. I played drums for a bit. I just did random things at school. But then when I got older, I just started writing lyrics. But then I was really nervous to like kind of let them out. And then I think around 2018, just around the time I met you, was when I started being like overt with it. I just went to uni and I started sharing stuff on SoundCloud, and then I just built up a following, and ever since then just been doing it.
That's mad. So really and truly, you've only been rapping for like 3 years.
I'd say publicly I've probably been doing it like in my room maybe another year or two before that.
That's still pretty heavy, because I feel like a lot of people that I speak to, especially a lot of people in the game, this is a kind of difference I noticed. A lot of guys who kind of came up in my era were rapping for years before like they kind of came onto the scene. But I noticed a lot of younger artists a lot of them have only been doing it for a short amount of time, but at the same time they get into a really high level like really quickly. Like, the competition is high. Do you feel, is that something you kind of push yourself to do, like to be more polished in a short space of time?
I think it's easier these days, maybe just because like we can just post it on our Instagrams, and like we can do it all from our bedrooms, and like it's easier to get a recording like set up, and it's easier to distribute your own music. Like, it's like £35 a year or something. And like I feel like the younger I get there, the better. But I don't mind if I don't get there, as long as I'm enjoying life making music. But like, obviously it'd be nice to live off music, so I'm trying to do it while I'm young, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a sick thing, because I always think back to like my first couple of rhymes, even not even my first couple of rhymes, my first couple of years, like my first 5 years of rapping, I think I was whack, man. Like compared to like even if I listen to my first album, yeah, which is even that long ago, that's like what 2005, whatever. I listen back to that, I'm just like, nah, you're not where you need to be. But I guess you're always continually growing. When did you start producing then?
No, I definitely feel.
Now go.
Nah, yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, like, I definitely feel like even the tape I made a year ago, like just over a year ago, is kind of whack compared to what I'm dropping now. Like, every time I make a new song, I'm like, rah, that other thing was not it. But yeah, I've been producing on and off. I don't know, probably like 2 years, because I was doing my dissertation last year.
Right.
Like, not much got done. Well, no, this year and end of last year. Like, I don't think much got done. I think I'm very on and off with it, because I find it hard, because the sound engineering kind of puts me off doing it, because I'm not that great at mixing, so it kind of puts me off. But I need to just like go for it.
You know what? Yeah, I'm the worst mixer, I'd say. Like, I'm rubbish at mixing, but what I do, I just make my beats and then I just give it to an engineer. I'm just like, okay, this is my beat, make it sound good.
That's what I need to do.
Trust me,
I need to do that.
That's the way. It just makes things so much easier, because I've always felt like if you're a drummer. I used to play drums as well, right? So being a drummer, you kind of have an ear for rhythm, an ear for music, right? So that part is like, to me, that's the most important part of being a producer. The mixing element of it is almost like a whole different, kind of a whole different discipline. So I'm always like, nah, let me just like sonically it sounds alright, and then I'll just hand it over to somebody else. I want to go back a little bit, yeah. So when you were playing drums, like where was that? How old were you when you were doing that?
Oh, I don't even, like, in primary school, so I must have been like, I was one of them people who went through loads of phases. So like, I rode BMX for a bit, I played football, like, yes, I can't even remember, but it was definitely when I was in primary school. I think maybe 10 years old, but I didn't even properly get lessons because we couldn't really like afford that. And there was a scheme with there was a benefit, like, that if you were on free school meals you could get free lessons, but just when I was about to, that ended. So I couldn't. But I had a drum kit, like what we got secondhand, and I just knew a few things, and like I had like the rhythm and stuff, but I didn't like properly get into it or nothing.
So you had a drum kit in your yard?
Yeah, in a shed.
Oh, okay. I was saying, like, the neighbours must have loved that. Like,
yeah. I think that shed's actually like attached to their house or something, like, or right next to it. So yeah, they probably hated me, but I think we got new ones since then. So it's all good.
That's why they moved in it. They were like, yo, allow this. My where I used to live, like where my mum lives now, my next door neighbour, he was a drummer, and like you would hear him all times of the day, all times of the night in his shed, just going ham. He was like a heavy metal drummer. So he would be going crazy. But yeah, big up Scott, wherever you are. Yeah, man. So being from, it's funny actually. So the last person I interviewed on Friday was Juggernaut, and he's from Nottingham as well.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Like, the Nottingham music scene is quite intense, quite advanced. I feel like just the level of artists that come from there, it's kind of like a different level. How have you found it being part of the Nottingham scene, or do you feel like you're part of the Nottingham scene, or at the moment are you just doing your thing?
I definitely think now I'm part of the Nottingham scene, but basically I grew up in Cambridge, which the only person who's like kind of famous from Cambridge is what's his name? Big Heath.
Okay.
I don't know if you know him. Yeah, he's kind of coming up more now. He went to my secondary school. But yeah, I grew up in Cambridge, and a lot of my family do the music scene there, but it's like, it's not really popping, and people are trying to like imitate a lot of like drill and stuff, which is fine, but it wasn't really like my thing. I'm more like boom bap kind of thing. And then I moved to Nottingham for uni, and that's definitely when my career kind of like blew up, like more. I was getting shows all the time, like people really recognize my talent, because I think Nottingham is so sick because everyone is so diverse and everyone does their own thing. There's so many different styles there, like, yeah, people like Jayahadadream are so sick, like there's some really sick MCs there, and definitely it ups my level, and the opportunities there are crazy compared to where I grew up. Like, there's so much going on. The scene is like really good. I love it.
It's funny you say that though, because like back in the day, Cambridge was one of them places that had a really good hip hop scene, like as far as kind of like the boom bap style. So like Delegates of Culture with Inja and them, man. So like Cambridge used to be a place where we would, like, from London, we would go to perform, and there'd always be like the community there always seemed like it was kind of bubbling. So it's kind of hard to, or it's funny to hear like it kind of died down or kind of just changed. What's it?
I definitely think it's changed since then.
Yeah.
I wish I was there when you were there.
It was cold. Like that was the places. There was certain places outside of London that were always kind of cool to go to. I think Cambridge might have been one of my first ever like proper shows as well. So I was supporting another artist. I think Cambridge was one of my first places. But like Cambridge, Bristol, Brighton, certainly these places you'd go to and just be like, you wouldn't expect it to be the way it was, but because uni culture, it just kind of became that way it was. So are you still? Is that your base? Like Cambridge, that's your home basically.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of snaked Cambridge, and now Nottingham's like my base. Nottingham is actually my bet. Like I got a job in Nottingham, and I'm happy there. I'll probably stay there. That I always kind of see that as more my place now. My family's still in Cambridge, so cool. I still go there, and I have done a few shows there, and I probably will in the future. Like there's a few musicians I'm in contact with there as well, but here, well, I'm actually in Coventry right now because I'm staying at my boyfriend's, cool. But Nottingham is definitely the place, like, for me. I really like it. Seen.
So, with your, I guess, like, the different styles that you do, like you say you're more like a boom bap rapper, but also you sing as well. So would you say that singing would be an avenue you would go down as well, like exclusively, or is it always going to be like the rap being at the forefront?
I think the rap will always be at the forefront. Like I do want to make like an all singing project at some point, and I do have like 1 or 2 songs out that are basically all singing or just all singing, but I definitely would see myself more as a rapper. I think a lot of people like try and get me just to sing, but I definitely want to rap more for sure.
I think there's like I don't know, I guess it's changing now, but in the past it was always like, oh, you're a female, so you must want to sing, you must be a singer. And I guess in the recent well, now it's changing a lot because we're seeing a lot more females come through who are like just barrers, man, that will bar people's heads off. And it's funny because like when I met you at a YouTube event, it was probably almost like 50-50. I guess they kind of wanted it that way as well. But you remember it was a bit where they did like the photos of just all the girls, and it was like some heavy spitters there. Do you feel like the scene is more inclusive now, or slightly, I guess, is it easier being a female than it was in the past, do you think?
I think you always stand out as a female, which is kind of a bonus, but it definitely is easier maybe because we all have like more individual control, like just using our socials and stuff. But I still think they still only want a certain type of female rapper to, like, you only really see a certain type of female rapper break through the like gates, and kind of like it's usually the ones who like don't mind like getting a bit naked or speaking about like sexual things, that, or like acting kind of like having this like bad bitch persona. I think it sells a lot better, and I get it, but I think like the marketization of the music industry has like really made it so that it's harder for women to like make it without like doing something that's kind of catching people's eyes, like getting a bit naked and things like that. So it definitely is easier because we have more individual control, but yeah, it's harder. It's still hard. There's still a long way to go for us to be taken like seriously.
And it's funny as well because if you look at like, I guess my favorite, not even female artist, but one of my favorite artists, full stop, would be like Little Sims, yeah. And you can look at her and be like, oh well, she made it, she came through. But at the same time, there's only like one Little Sims that's at the top at the moment. And also as well, I feel like when you have one female at the top or a couple of female artists at the top, the majority of them, like you say, fit into this other category where sex sells, so that's what we're gonna do to move forward. So at the same time, it's still quite difficult to come through being original. So that being said, what do you do to make yourself stand out in this crowd?
I say just like keep your integrity and like just be yourself, because there's a lot of people who are this like, they might not actually be the same, but they get filtered down to like the same type of thing. I definitely say just being ourselves and just speaking about different topics, because I'm actually getting confused between I'm not trying to be harsh to them, because I think some of them are really sick rappers, but I do get confused between a lot of these new UK female rappers, because they've all got quite similar like
aesthetic
topics and like aesthetic, literally, and I'm getting confused of who's who. So I definitely think Stan, and I think Little Sims as well. Like, I think she is famous, but she's still not like on the level of like certain other females who like, I think she was going up, but they've just soared above her because of like their aesthetic.
Yeah, that's true actually.
But I think she'll be in the game for longer. Actually, I think she'll be in the game for longer.
I agree as well, man. Because if you think about, like, you look at, I'd say the biggest UK female artist is probably still Steph London, probably. Like, and again, she hasn't been around for very long, but she's kind of been pushed further due to the music that she makes. And I guess you see that on both sides as well, not just female artists, you see that with male artists as well. Obviously, if you're talking about drugs and guns and stuff, you're going to move forward a lot faster. You speak about being, or you are working with young people. How do you marry the two, like the music career and that together, and does that kind of help?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm doing a project right now called Sounds of Lockdown. It's kind of been on and off because of these lockdowns, but and like, I'm helping like these 3 or 4 young people like work on their craft, and like obviously I'm not a professional, but I'm like a bit ahead of where they're like, I'm a bit further like to where we're trying to be, and like it's quite fun. They kind of relate to me more because I'm only 21, and like some of them are actually older than me. And like, it's quite nice. I feel like I have a different connection with them, and especially because like I'm like fresh out of uni. I'm still like their age, and like my background and stuff as well. Like, I didn't have the easiest background. I didn't have the hardest, but I didn't have the easiest. And like, so I think I can relate to some of them a bit more and understand and have more empathy and mindfulness like towards how they feel and stuff.
Yeah. I think because that's what I do youth work as well, and one of the things I notice a lot with youth workers is the lack of relatable people that work with young people. So I'm never one to say you have to be able to relate, or not even be able to relate. You have to be able to know what young people are about, and you have to be down with the kids to work with young people. I'm not saying that, but it definitely does help. There's been a lot of times I've been in sessions. I've either gone to a Peru or gone to some sort of yacht service, and I'm in there, and the conversations are having, and the person who's in charge is like, I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what's going on, and I always feel like, then why don't you know what's going on? Like, I couldn't work in a mechanic and be like, I've got no idea about cars, mate. Like, and I just see that so much. What's your experience been working with, or in the youth sector?
I think it's all right, but I've realized in community organizations, there's actually a lot of people who, like, I think it'd be better if a lot of these community organizations came together, but it feels like there's a lot of tension between organizations, like who's doing the most for the youth right now, who's tackling knife crime better than who. And I think that was something that shocked me a lot, because I've only actually been in this job for like half a year. I did an internship with them at uni, and then they took me on, and like it is really good, but I'm learning so much about the tensions between different subgroups in the community, but also like different organizations trying to do the best. And like I just think if we all came together and like organized our resources, it would be way more beneficial. But yeah, I get it.
It's funny, man. You're always gonna have politics, and it's such a weird thing as well, because when I'm the same as you. So when I first started working in youth work, I've been doing it full time hours for 2 years now, But when I first started doing it, the thing that really kind of threw me off guard was we were working in with another. So we're at the time we were a charity, and we were working with the council, and the council youth workers were kind of like off with us because they were like, yeah, like we're doing this. You shouldn't be. And it's just like, wait, what? Ain't we all working for the young people? Like, why do you care? Like, who does it? And we done like I put together a open mic night. So put together this night, had like the young people, and then I filmed it. And one of the arguments was they were like, "Oh, our logo needs to be bigger." I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" Like, it's so weird,
That's
man.
Crazy.
That's the kind of stuff you come up against, and you just think to yourself, like, I don't get it. But I think like youth, because my dad was in youth work as well, and youth work has changed a lot, because before, back in the day, it was like you just said, "Yeah, I'm a youth worker. I want to open up a youth club," and they'd be like, "All right, cool, here's some money." And then you had a lot of people just doing things that they shouldn't have done with the money, which is why now it's so strict in where the money goes, and everyone's fighting for the same pot. How do you think this is sick actually? Yeah. So how do you think youth centres, because we've had a lot of talk as well about youth centres, like people have spoken about, oh, we need more youth clubs and more youth centres. Do you think we need more youth centres? And if we do, how should they be different than they've been working at the moment? And I know it's a deep question, especially for someone who's only like just started it, but I feel like you got a fresh view of it.
I think I would, because I did my dissertation on drill music, and like it was sick, but obviously I think people need more. Like drill is fine. Like I think the genre is fine. Like I don't have anything against it. But I think if there was more youth, back then I thought if there was more youth clubs and youth organizations and stuff, like that would stop people from actually doing the crimes that they're speaking about. But now, actually being in the community organization, there's actually so many. I don't know if it's just me, but there's so many, and maybe it's more of a case of checking more of what the organizations that are already there are doing, because it seems like there's so many. Now that I work for them and we're working with different people, I'm like, rah, there's a lot of different people, but I actually think there's enough, but maybe they need more funding, more checkups on what they're actually doing, and more like actually being able to reach the people they're trying to reach. Because I think that, like, when I've tried to promote something that we're doing, it's been quite hard to actually get the youth to get involved. But I don't think they want to.
Yeah.
They need to think of new ways.
It is that's. Yeah, I agree with you as well. I think part of the problem is we have it depends what a youth club is there for. So a lot of times we have a youth club where young people come, but once they're here, they don't really do much. So you might have PlayStation, pool table, and then some people hanging out and listening to music. You might even have a recording session, but there's no real interaction with the young people to say, yo, what's going on? And I feel like that's always been the difference between what I do. My thing has always been spit your bars. Okay, cool. Why did you say that? What's that about? Like, and having the interaction, and then having it go further than that. I think part of the problem is, especially again, this is a funding thing. Yeah. If you're working with a young person for the time they're in the building with you, that's never going to be enough time. You're always going to have that situation where you can be like, where you can speak to that young person outside of those hours. So one of the things that I feel like we need way more of is detached work, where what we do, we'll just go to the areas, man. We'll just go around the block. Who's about? Chill with the man, them, ask things. We get to know them, they get to know us. And it's not a case of we're trying to police you either. It's just a case of we're actually trying to get to know you. We're trying to get to know what's going on, which is a lot easier for most of us when we live in the area anyway. So it's not a case of we're in an area we don't live. We're in an area where I know you, you know me, I know your mum, I know your auntie, your auntie knows, you know what I mean? And it's like really bringing community together. And again, it does need funding, because we can't, well, you're going to have certain people like me. I don't mind working outside of hours. I don't, like, it's nothing. But you're going to have a lot of people who are like, nah, man, I finish at 5. And that's cool. Yeah. Like, you get paid to what you get paid for. But but we do need more funding so that can actually go further. But what did I wanted to ask you? So with your dissertation on drill music, this is cool because it's funny. Yeah, I've been a part of at least 3 different dissertations on drill music. Like people have messaged me like, yeah, I'm doing a dissertation. Can I get a quote from you? Can I do an interview? Like I think I've done 3. And I've been a part of way more dissertations than that. I ain't never been to uni, man. I'm part of bare dissertations. I need to get a degree or something. Like they need to hook man up. But
that's sick.
It's a bit mad still. But so with your observation of drill music, what did you find? Like
basically my question was something to do with, it was about austerity and drill music and their relationship. And like I analysed lyrics, and I looked at a lot of race theories from, there's this, you might know him, there's a old, like from the 1930s, a sociologist called Du Bois, and he speaks about like that there's he's speaking about literally just after segregation and all that, and he's saying like he's oh no, there's still segregation. He's speaking just after when the slaves have been freed, and he's basically saying like there's a color line between people, and there's, even though your identity is complex if you're black, but you're in a Western society basically. And I basically argued that when you're like black and British, you're like, you've got 2 warring ideals. Like although you are British, you're black, so like you don't fit. And like I just spoke a lot about like them being outcasts, and a lot about consumerism as well, and how capitalism has like influenced them, and how there's always this goal but they can't reach it like legitly because there's lack of like representation, there's institutional racism, and things like that, and the austerity cuts. So like they use their own means to reach consumerism, but even their idea of consumerism is like different to like a middle class white guy. Like their aesthetic is different. And I also spoke about like women and how women are treated in drill music, and how it's all a product of basically like neoliberalism and like free markets and like stuff like that. It's quite like different, but it was really fun, to be fair. I got a good, like decent grade for it. It was good.
Nah, that sounds because I guess when you speak about why young people do drill, or why any artist does drill, I guess it comes down to make some money, innit? Like it's
basically
it's the I don't know, man, what is it? It's a flavour of the month, but it's been going on for quite a few months now. But I remember like 2014, I think, and this was when I was kind of new to drill, like really just kind of started listening to drill, and I remember thinking, nah, man, this ain't gonna last. Like this ain't gonna last. They're not gonna let this go. Like it's not gonna last a year. And the next summer, it was still there, and even now, listen, like I feel like it's in a place now where, especially where it's crossed over the pond, and the Americans will have their own version of it as well. It's not going anywhere. Like it's with us to stay. And I feel like to me, it's the same thing when gangster rap started. It's the same thing with grime. It's to me, it's like something. It just repeats itself. Do you feel like, so this argument's been said bare times, and it's been happened to me. I've been on TV shows about it. Like it's nuts. But do you feel like the drill does feed into the gangster culture or the violence at all, or is it really just the other way around?
I think it does feed into it, but the crime will always be there no matter what. Like taking away drill is not going to stop the crime. Like maybe it hasn't encouraged it a bit, but like I don't think it's the main cause of crime at all. I don't even think it's worth even. I think it's helped a lot of people with social mobility, like, and like economic like equity and stuff, and like it has actually done probably more good than bad. But we always see more bad of things. Like I don't know. It's such a. I hate that question because it's
so
like
dumb.
It definitely has. Yeah, but I don't want to feed into it too much because like there's so much other things that have caused more like crime than that. Yeah,
it's mad, and I get it, and it's like so many times, and you just want to say like, the day you find, my answer is always this: the day you find like a good kid who listens to drill and then becomes a driller, then I'll be like, oh right, the music made him do it. But you just don't see that. Like
Exactly.
it's not a thing. And it's funny because like even again working in the work that I work in, any young person, if you who you want to say, okay, this person does drill music and is involved in crime, they were involved in crime way before they were involved in the music. And if you take the music away and you just look at their life, it goes way deeper than just them. It's again, we're talking systemic. It's their family. It's generations of dealing with certain things. There's so many other things you could speak about, and the music is literally nothing. Know what I mean, on the radar, man. But it's yeah, man. It's a mad.
Yeah, I swear most people who like most of hip hop's audience in general is like white men, like middle class men or something. Like they're the ones who are like go into these concerts and stuff like. And I'm not saying they won't cause crime, but like they're not usually the ones who are like getting stabbed and stuff. So I don't think. Yeah, I agree exactly what you say. It's way deeper than the music. It's like trauma, like deep rooted.
Coming off of that I guess what you just said, yeah, the majority of people that are buying into the music. So report just came out. At the moment, there's a Parliament are doing a report on streaming money. So
oh really?
Right, okay. So they're looking at how much artists are getting from streaming, and this idea that the majority of people that are buying the music aren't from our community, traditionally, but the majority of the money still isn't going to our the artists that are making the music. So it's something like as little as 13% goes down to like who makes the music. It's nuts, right? So as somebody, as an artist as well, and as somebody who's again you've studied this and researched about I guess young people or people coming from these backgrounds using music to get them to a certain place. How do you think, or how do you feel? I don't know. How does that make you feel? The fact that the kids are making the music, try and make some money, but at the end of the day, the people that are really making the money are the labels.
Yeah, it does make me. It just reminds me of like, I don't know, like you know how like black culture has always been fetishized, and it's almost like, I don't know. It reminds me of like, it's like we're anyone from like who's non-white is kind of like a puppet being used. Like it's always a form of or a source of entertainment. Like, and I don't know. I do think like I'm just frustrated by that, to be honest. I don't even know what to say. It's just frustrating. Like people are always used, and like when I don't know, like rappers literally get shot and stuff. And then like it's mad. They're putting their lives at stake and stuff, and the definitely the people at the top are like the white middle class men.
I think it's like it's changing. So the other day, like a couple of months ago actually, or last month, so Kanye West was putting out he was talking about what's he talking about, like labels, contracts, how contracts are and the way contracts should be changed. And I've spoken about this with so many different artists, because to me it's like a spark, man. It's like if this changes, it changes everything for everyone. And it's almost like when our money system changed from the gold standard, like it changed everything. It changed the way the economics worked for the world, And I feel like at the moment we're in a place business wise, and again it goes deeper than music, but to the point where when artists actually have ownership over what they do, over what they make, that's going to change everything. Because again, you're going to be in a situation where even if you're making whatever music you're making to try and get yourself out of a position, you're actually going to have yourself in a much better position to be able to get out of that hole. Because one of the things we see is artists getting signing a deal, getting big, and still being broke at the end of the day. And I feel like this idea of like changing how contracts are made, or how contracts are written, or how music is, how things are put together, is a really important conversation to have. So my question to you is, as an artist, Is that something you think about now, going forward? Like, have you ever had that dream of, I want to be signed, or I want to be signed to a major? Where's your mind state when it comes to that?
Yeah, I'm so like in between because like I don't want to get. I feel like it's always in your back of your head that you're gonna get ripped off or like you're gonna end up with nothing, like you said, and like it would be sick, but I think it'd be even sicker if it was possible to be independent. But I don't know, maybe sign for a bit, go independent. But I don't know, like it might not be that easy. You might get trapped into something. Like I don't know. It's such a hard question. I would definitely sign to something, but I'd need people to like read over it
Yeah.
and all of this. And I want to be able to give back to the community, so I need to be making good money.
Yeah, Jay-Z style, man.
Yeah.
I can't be poor and help you look. It's funny though, but like people, this is the thing, yeah. So people say they're like, even when you sign a good deal is still a really bad deal just because of the way the business is. So it's like there's not even an opportunity for you to even be in a position that is going to get you to where you want to be unless you're really smart with it. And it's funny because most of the people that you look at that are smart with it, you look at someone like Beyonce. Beyonce is a really good example, but Beyonce's dad was her manager, so he was looking over the whole thing and making sure, you know what I mean, these things are right. And even with that, it still took her a long time to get to where she is now. Same with Jay-Z. Jay-Z signed some bad deals, had to figure his way out of it. Where am I going with this question? So as an artist, right, and trying to be an independent artist. So the idea of, okay, here's an example. So have you heard of Griselda Records? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool, right? So Westside Gunn, yeah, was signed to Shady Records, right? He has just come out of his deal. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, cool. You were signed to Shady, yeah? So you were already doing good. He was doing good anyway. You were signed to Shady, which arguably is one of the biggest labels in the world. And you still was like, nah, man. Not good. Yeah. And again, he's like, it's cool for him because he's like, they got money. So he can be like, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to take the money you're offering. I'm going to do this myself. But I feel like a lot of other artists don't have that cushion. So being in a position, if you got no money and they go to you, look, here's 250 grand, most artists are going to go, all right, cool. I'm going to take the 250 and I'm going to figure it out like somehow, some way. And it all seems good until it's not good anymore. And then you're stuck in the deal and that 250 weren't 250. Like, it's a mad thing to think about.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, stay independent.
I don't know. The whole thing scares me, to be honest. I feel like I need a team.
Yeah.
Like I need to build a team before any of that. And I need to like learn more about it because even some of the things you're saying, like I know the artists and stuff, but I don't know the ins and outs like you do. Like I need to like educate myself. I think it's important for all of us underground upcoming artists to like start educating ourselves on this. Like I definitely need to do some homework.
I think, you know what? I think that's the key. I think the only way the game has been able to survive for so long is because artists have not been educated in how the game works. And I'm like, even my knowledge, bearing in mind, man, I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, my knowledge of how the labels work is still so rubbish. Like, and I'm looking at things every day, but it's just the way it's set out. It's like it's set out for you to not really know exactly what's going on and things like that. I just got offered a publishing deal yesterday. Guy was like, yeah,
Jeez.
like, and I was just like, I don't know, man, because my last publishing deal, this is gonna sound really bad, yeah. Full disclosure. So I got a publishing deal with Universal Records, right, in Spain, yeah.
Jeez.
So they flew over to come and give me my contract. They were like, do you want a deal? I'm like, hell yeah, I want a deal. What are you talking about? And at the time I was broke anyway. So I'm like, just give me a deal, whatever. I don't know what it is. They flew over two executives and a lawyer from Spain to come and meet me for me to sign this contract. Yeah, this contract was like, it was like that thick. Yeah, just pages and pages, all written in Spanish. I don't read no Spanish. Yeah, I'm just like, I don't.
Oh, there.
I don't read no Spanish. I didn't have no lawyer. I was just like, listen, I see the money, cool, let me sign. So I just signed. I was just like, boom, 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 boom. And like,
geez.
it didn't really do me any damage, but just because of the kind of deal it was. But at the same time, if that had been a publishing deal for like my actual music that from my catalogue, I'd have probably been in a bad deal right now. I'd have probably been in a bad way. Like, so I feel like it's definitely, education is definitely the way forward, and just kind of learning the game. There's so many parts of this game that we navigate and we understand, but when it comes to the music side of things, the business side of things, for some reason it's like severely lacking. But it's something we definitely need to.
Nah, my biggest fear is that I get in a position where like I feel like I legally can't drop music because I've signed something. That is my biggest fear, 100%, that I'd have no control of actually just dropping something. Nah.
I've seen that as well, man. I've seen that with like the, like the ones who do, like the Britain's Got Talent, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so
they get ripped off.
I see. So there was one girl who did, it wasn't in Britain's Got Talent. Was it before? It was X Factor. So she got really far in the X Factor, like TV business, like she got down to the finals and whatever. Didn't make it through. And then they have, what they sign is a non-compete clause, which means you can't perform as yourself until
I've seen this, yeah.
So until that part of the deal is done. And she's an amazing singer, and she put out a single. This is maybe like 3 years after, and they came through and was like, shut it down. Like, nope, you can't do anything. And it just killed her whole, like, her career was dead, and it just killed her hunger and like love for music. And I feel like that's it's so cruel, man. It's like, because it's not taking anything from, like, I'm not taking nothing from you, but you don't want me to do the thing that I love. It's
that's so personal and deep. Jeez.
Would you ever? Okay, this is a question. Would you ever do anything like that? X Factor, Britain's Got Talent.
Even not to be harsh to the UK rap game, but you know that UK rap game thing. I don't even know if it's called that because I don't watch it, but for this season, I had a phone call about it, and so did my friend, and my friend got a bit further than me. And when he was at this thing, apparently they were trying to get a sub story out of him, and because he didn't have one, they like didn't choose him and things like that. And like, he's such a sick rapper, and I just think it's so like, I don't think I ever would. Even the rap ones, I think they're so saturated, and like they want a certain story and like narrative, and like it's just, I don't think I'll ever do it. Even though I think it's cool that like people like DJ Target and that have these shows and stuff. I do think like the way it is just not. It's never, those type of shows will never like actually be good for the artist. I feel. Yeah. It's all for TV.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's a TV show. It's not really a music show. So it is. It's a tough thing, man. I've seen, like I said, man, I've seen people do well. I've got friends who have won X Factor who done really well and are doing well now, but it's a tough game. So going forward in your music career, what do you have planned, or what does it look like? Where are you trying to go with it?
In the short run, I've got like a little EP, well, not little, like a 6-track EP coming out that I like produced a bit with this other guy called Roy Matz, who lives in Israel, but he's so sick. He's like proper good artist, and he's not on it. He's just helped me like sound engineer it and produce it a bit. And then in the long run, I just want to keep doing this thing. I've got a few things lined up that I don't want to say just in case, like, because they're not like confirmed, but I've got a few things that I'm like, okay, this could be like a step up the ladder, and I'm just going to keep releasing independently. I did a song with Khan's Hill recently, which is probably the biggest achievement I've had so far. It was so sick. Like, yeah, he's like a real G. And I'm just going to keep doing the freestyles online. I just hope that, because everyone's saying, I know this is stupid, but just because it's in my head, everyone's saying Instagram's going to like it's just becoming crap now and no one's going to use it. But Instagram is like my main thing.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about that because I'm not a TikTok person. I can't do that. I just cannot. So I'm just going to keep putting stuff online. Yeah, keep distributing my music, keep doing shows. Hopefully lockdown will stop because I had so many shows lined up across like the UK and stuff. And like I'm just going to keep working with people and yeah.
Talking about, so I've seen your freestyles on Instagram, and yeah, you're killing it that way. Have you ever thought about just repurposing the content, so putting it on all your platforms so that it's there? So even though you don't like TikTok, because me, same, I don't like TikTok, but what I do every now and then, if I can be bothered, is whatever I put up on Instagram, I just put over on TikTok as well, just so that it's there.
I have started doing that. Literally, I just made a TikTok account and I have started doing it, but it's hard to get engagement. I don't know how people do it. I think you have to have funny videos on there as well. Otherwise you don't, because mine's doing crap. But yeah, I do try put stuff on all my platforms and yeah, but I don't know. I think Twitter and Instagram are the ones for me. I really like them.
Where's my phone? Let me just say something, right? So I set up a TikTok account. Like last year, whenever a new social media platform comes out, I'll just do it anyway. I got Twitch, I got Discord, I got bare stuff that I don't even know how to use. I just have it, And so I set up a TikTok account and started putting my music on there, just like the 1 minute things. So all the so music ones, I've got, one of them has 200 plays, one of them has 300 plays, all like 300 plays, little bits. I put up a little funny video about cereal. I got white chocolate Rice Krispies and normal and Cocoa Pops. Put them in a bowl, half and half, and I was like, I just killed racism. This video has almost 500,000 like plays on it.
This is what I mean.
Like, so stupid.
This is what I mean.
And I was just like, nah, man, why can't you, like, luckily I put my music in the background, so like, all right, cool.
No, that's good.
Get a little bit of plays. I was just like, nah, you can't be, this ain't right, man. But I guess it's one of those things you just have to like, kind of just push through, man.
Yeah, that's even like Instagram though, like, not all the time, but like, usually a selfie or a picture of me standing or something will do better than some of my, not really the freestyles do really well, but like if I'm posting like, oh, this song's coming out in a few weeks or something, that post usually does a lot worse than like just a picture. It's really annoying. The image is everything, but see, it's really annoying.
This is how you got to do it, right? This is what I do as well, and I should do it more. So what I do is I'll post a picture of myself, because I know that's going to get like wherever, then I'll post the track like next to it, or put it on the same post, so they see the picture, go across, and like, you got to just manipulate the algorithms, man. Like, I think this new like day and age of trying to get attention is, I don't know, it's super hard. I was one of the people that I follow is Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, and he's like the master at kind of online marketing and content. And he was talking to someone who owned a business, and he was like, if you were me, what would you do to help my business? And he was like, how much content are you posting? And he was like, oh, we post a couple times a day. And he was like, if I was you, I'll be posting 30 to 40 times a day. I was like, what? Like, how the heck? Like, what? Like, how the? And I checked his page, and like, he posts probably like 10 times a day. But they on every single platform. So Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and then like all day long. And I'm just like, I get it, but that's really, if I do that, I'm not going to be trying to make any flipping music. Like, trying to get like.
That's what the meme pages do. They post a lot in a day. That's interesting, because I run the social media for my work as well. So it's interesting to know, but that seems like a lot. Yeah, that's time consuming.
It is. And I'm like, so obviously I have a clothing line as well. And one of the things I've been trying to work towards is just posting once a day. Like, just posting once a day across platforms is hard. And I want to build up to doing 10 times a day. But then it's like, what's the content? Even this content right now that we're doing on one of my other platforms, it's hard for me to like this is cool because it's live, and once it's done, it's done. It's out there. I don't have to worry about it. But it's hard for me when I'm doing other interviews to then upload it, take bits out, do sound bites.
My podcast, yeah.
How's that going as well? How's the podcast going? Because you've been doing that for a little while as
well. We've been doing it since the when this first 2020 civil rights movement like came. Basically just me and two other people who I know through music who are both mixed race as well. We all look so different though. Like one of the guys he's more like white passing, and then the other guy is like darker than me, and then I'm like the in between. And like it's good. We mostly get a lot of love, but it's interesting. The first episode we dropped got like so many views, and then as we've been doing them, it's getting less because people don't care about race anymore. Like it's not trendy anymore.
Yeah.
And like it has been going good though, but
I saw the hate as well. I saw the hate you were getting.
Oh yeah, not too much.
Nah, a little
like,
bit.
The thing what makes me annoyed so much is anytime like when you're mixed race, a lot of the time people, as soon as you start speaking about race issues, they'll be like, "Oh, shut up, you're white." And it's like, firstly, white people, even if I was white, white people should be able to speak about. They should be speaking about these things. They're the ones who are mostly like racist in society. And secondly, like I got my ancestry test literally back today as well. Not that I don't know, because I know my dad and my mum. Like I know my mum's Irish, and I came out 50% Irish, and then my dad's Jamaican, but a lot of mine was like 15% Nigerian, like all different things and stuff. Lots of different places in Africa, and it's bare accurate because it said that like where I'm from in Jamaica was literally, it came up like it was sick.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's just so annoying. Like I hate it. Kind of is triggering because especially because I grew up on my white side, so like I've always tried to fit into my black side more.
Right.
And like I've only just started speaking to my dad literally in 2020, and like so it's quite annoying, but it's also funny like because I've got my mates and that, we just like, this guy was saying he's going to do an exorcism, so he's clearly tapped. Like he was saying like, "Oh, I'm going to do an exorcism for you guys because you're demons." I don't even know. You can't even get some weird comments.
Yeah, you can't even entertain them ones, man. It's really funny though, because like I obviously growing up around mixed race people and I've got like a weird upbringing, so because of my parents and my background, I grew up around a lot of different races. So the concept of racism came to me really late. So it wasn't until I moved to Luton when I was 11, then I was like, oh wait, different people don't like people because of different colours. And it was like super weird to me. But one thing that I always kind of took for granted was if somebody's mixed race, then they're pretty much black. And that was always in my mind, just the way I saw it, whether that be right or wrong. And again, it's like,
no, I agree.
But that, and I get the argument when people are like, no, I'm both. Okay, that's cool. I have mixed race kids as well, so again, it's like, how do you teach them to be both? Because you are both. And it's funny because the race as we see it is really a political concept rather than actual ethnicity. So again, it doesn't make sense anyway. So you are both and you're everything. But then I've been seeing a lot of recently as well, since like the Black Lives Matter movement, I've seen a lot of people have that idea that if you're mixed race, you're not black, you're white, or you're not fully black. And it really baffles me as well, because I always thought in my mind that we're supposed to be, don't we want them on our side? Like, what's going on? Like, they're us. Like,
no, definitely. Because firstly, I don't know if people need to know more about history, because one drop, like, there was this whole thing, drop social classification. Like, if you have one drop of like non-white genes, then you're like black. And also, what about like Bob Marley and Malcolm X and people like that? They're literally mixed race. And also, it's just, like, I have definitely not had as much racism as people who are darker skinned than me. 100%, I haven't. But I've been called like nigger like several times when I was a kid, because I grew up in quite a white area. And also, like, it's hard hearing that stuff when I know that my dad even was like beat up by people because he is black. And like, also, it's just really, it's annoying, man. I think you have this identity where, you're too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids. But yeah, I definitely think even though I am mixed race, you always relate more when it comes to oppression to like your black like friends or family than your white, just because like people definitely, maybe some people will say I'm white or whatever, but like in actual only on the internet has that happened. In
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life, people
yeah,
just see me as me. It's only ever on the internet that someone will be like, oh, shut up, you're white or something. And it's just their white fragility, like
yeah.
their defensiveness coming out. They're just like idiots. It's stupid.
It's funny, man. A lot of things are just for the internet. Like a lot of things don't happen in real life, and a
Yeah.
lot of I don't know, man. I feel like sometimes we take too much. We give too much weight to opinions on people who we would never entertain in real life. And I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning to just be like,
Same.
yo,
I'm learning a lot.
I can't talk to you. I don't want to talk about this. Had an argument today with someone. I was just like, you got it, bro. You got it. I'm not arguing with you, man. Like, I don't know you in real life. You don't know me. I didn't know you existed until this point, and I'm gonna forget you ever
gotta
existed.
remember that.
So I was like, nah, man, forget it, man. But yeah, man, I want to thank you for your time. It's been cool, kind of getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been sick.
I wish you all the best for the future. Give me who do you want to shout out, and where can people find your stuff, and you know what I mean, all that.
Oh, all right. I'll shout out just all the people we got this little group chat with a lot of upcoming rappers. We just named it Commodity, but we've got loads of people in it. Yeah, shout out to them because they're just like my closest friends in this music thing. And basically you can just search Jayahadadream on anything and I'll come up. Even just on Google, I'll come up. So yeah. And then if you go on Instagram especially, like everything is there. Link in my bio has everything. I've got my latest song Rubber Bands with Khan's Hill is out, and new thing coming soon. So yeah, just stay tuned. Blessed for having me though. And also I feel like it's interesting because I was saying to my boyfriend about how like 3 years ago or whatever when I met you, like I remember doing that rap thing and like I was shaking, like, and now things are so much different. So it's interesting to like, you've probably seen it from afar, like how much my confidence and stuff has changed. So it's really cool to like reconnect with you.
It's been wicked to see, man. Like I'm a fan. Like I just love seeing people just, you know what I mean? Like you got a gift in it. So to watch you use that, and I feel like the environment we're in at the moment is conducive to see people, creatives, reach their potential. So it's always a blessing to see, man. And I want to see you do more of it, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, bless up you too. I appreciate it.
Wiki. Thank you. All right, stay on the line a second. I'm gonna say goodbye to the people.
All right,
Cool. So yeah, that was Jayahadadream, man. That was a sick interview because again, like just watching somebody come up and someone grow. And me, yeah, I've been in this game so long, I'm jaded in it, man. Like I'm just like, you know what I mean? So it's cool to see somebody coming fresh into the game with a new vision, a new feel for the game, and just seeing what she's bringing to music. She gave you the details. Please go check her stuff. It's incredible. She's an incredible artist. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow with another guest. I can't even remember who's even on tomorrow, but it will be up by the time this is posted. So please go check it out. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share it to your friends. Let them know we're out here. But until tomorrow, peace and love. Stay blessed.